Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong, and I wanted to quickly share a journal that's going into the shop right now. I mentioned recently having this old copy of The Borrowers that I was working with, and this is the finished journal. It's got a couple of little beads tied on the string or the embroidery thread that was used to bind the pages in. The binding does show. There is a piece of vintage lace glued around the book, and then I stitched it right here to reinforce it, and it's got just a little metal embellishment stitched on this side. The front is painted with acrylic paint, and I left this little emblem of one of the borrowers sitting on an empty spool and doing some writing. It's got journal stamped on the front with an old typewriter. This is a small one signature journal. I just thought this book was too cute to not do something with. On the inside there's a pocket. I've been into, I guess, more grungy things lately. I think everybody knows or could see that in the last couple of journals that I made. This journal has got some beautiful postcards in it. Now this one has some kind of stain on the back, but when I saw the image on the front, it didn't matter to me. It's really pretty. That might wipe off with just a little bit of damp, like a damp paper towel, and maybe I will try that before I send this out. There is just a cloth image there of a little fairy, and let me let you see that because that fabric has some staining through it and it shows up right in the front. Of course it makes it more vintage. You can see the staining and the grunge behind this vintage piece of lace. So there are some tabs glued throughout this journal, and they're made from the painted library cards that I cut up for tags or cut tags out of and put them in my shop. A rustle in the wind reminds us a fairy is near. There's just a lot of space for writing in this journal. A lot of my hand-dyed paper and just pretty paper in general. There's another tab. This is a really pretty piece of wallpaper. You can see the edge of the teapot there and the leaves. And then it's got a nice texture on the back. There's an envelope for holding something. That page has just had a stamp on it. There's another beautiful postcard. This is Stockholm. The colors in this are just gorgeous. This is one of my favorite little journals. That is a page from one of my digital kits, the fairy kit, Spirit of the Night. And another tab, more dyed paper. I love dictionary pages because there are so many words that I do not know. And it is so interesting just to read these words that you rarely hear. Froppish, peevish, or froward. I have never heard of the word froppish. This is a neat page. It ended up looking like a butterfly. It's where I had put some paint out and I just folded it in half. You can't see it as much on this, but let me show you the fabric that I put it on. Look how cool this turned out. I had this big blob of paint that I was working with, and when I had used most of it, I just folded the paper in half and it left this really pretty design. And there was a lot of paint on it. So I just turned it over and stuck it to this canvas fabric. And look at that. It practically is an insect, a butterfly, a moth, something. The wings turned out they're brilliant. I'm going to have to do some more of these. That's some really pretty wallpaper. More dyed paper. Here's the center, and I just love that image. That is also an image that is in the fairy digital set that's in my shop. I will link that below. Another tab. More of that beautiful wallpaper, and the other side of the butterfly. So you can see there's a lot of space to write. More pretty wallpaper. Little fairy image. Of course, she is the one back here in the front. And another beautiful postcard. First lily pad. Does that say first lily pad room? Onondaga Cave in Leesburg, Missouri. I'm not familiar with that place. These postcards are old and they're pretty. There's the other part of that teapot. I love this page. This is one of my favorite pages ever. I love the color. I love that tab right there. Just this little triangle of color. It is so pretty. And just more paper. And here we are at the back. Someday you will be old enough to start reading fairy tales again. And there's another fairy image printed on fabric. And then this is a beautiful postcard too. It is a foreign postcard, but look at the color in that. Look at the blue and these little designs around the edges. It's so pretty. I thought it tied in very nicely. So that is that journal going live right now. Thank you for looking. Bye.